It's a very still day here at Killarney 36 Pits International Raceway, as we're getting ready to get things underway. On the second grid slot we have JP Brand. The third place on the grid belongs to Danny van Ruyen, a driver with plenty of experience.
The Dutch driver will be focused on a good result from here.
It's Jamie Nichols, sitting comfortably in fourth,
putting that SSM Golf 6 GTI Super production into prime position for the race.
As the green flag drops, keep an eye on Wayne Mitten starting in fifth position.
Wayne Mitten will be ready to show what they're made of.
In the middle of the pack, we have Blake Hurley starting from the sixth position on the grid.
They would have liked to be higher up, but that's not going to stop Blake Hurley fighting their way through.
Mitchell Guy is going to be starting from seventh. Mark Guy has qualified eighth. Green light and the race begins. As drivers jockey for position, they must be cautious of potential pileups.
This is where the driver's true abilities will be put to the test. Staying calm and collected while pushing for the lead is the ultimate challenge.
As the drivers get this race underway, let me give a shout out to the admin team at Simspeed Motorsports for making this all possible. Heroes one and all. There's some intense battling throughout the field as everyone is feeling out the drivers around them.
What a beautiful day for racing here at Killarney 36 Pits International Raceway. This is going to be good to watch.
Having started in 4, Jamie Nichols will be looking to establish themselves in this race.
I'm looking forward to this one, Alan, and we'll see a return to form for Jamie Nichols in this outing in South Africa.
It's been a solid race so far for Blake Hurley. They're holding their position and keeping a steady pace. We got a close battle as Ernest Heather closes in on Mark Guy. Great driving from Ernest Heather, who has just gained a place and moved up to 7th. Oh, this is getting intense. Mark Guy is just behind Ernest Heather. It's a solid performance from Bradley Taylor at the moment. They're holding their position and not getting too caught up in battles around them. During your racing career, Max, did you have any specific techniques to regain concentration if you felt it slipping?
Yes, Alan, I had a few techniques. One was to take a couple of deep breaths and briefly reset my focus. Another was to use a specific keyword or phrase as a mental trigger to refocus my mind on the task at hand.
Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed. Joe Nathan 021 wants to close that gap with Abderrahman.
And if you're enjoying the racing, please remember to like and subscribe.
JP Brand is running third. They are trying to catch Joni Geldenhuys.
We'll have to wait to see if JP Brand can use the draft to their advantage, or if the lack of downforce will hinder their progress.
Greg Hoffert is giving it their all as they chase down Mitchell Guy in P10. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed. The pursuit is on. Francois Erasmus is closing the gap on Al Walters, determined to claim P15. The pressure is on for Joni Geldenhuys as they try to catch up to JP. Hold on a second. Oh dear, Greg Hoffert has had an incident. The battle for 2 is heating up as Joni Geldenhuys tries to catch JP Brand in P2.
I would not be surprised if they get this pass completed soon.
It's an intense battle for position as Joni Geldenhuys tries to outmaneuver JP Brand. This is edge of your seat racing. Disappointing for Joni Geldenhuys, they now find themselves in 4th. Breaking news, folks. Al Walters is pitting. It's a thrilling pursuit as Joni Geldenhuys is right behind JP Brand, keeping the pressure on for second place.
The only thing closer than Joni Geldenhuys to JP Brand right now is the paint on their cars. Talk about a close encounter.
Looks like Jamie Nichols is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curbs aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about maintaining that fine line between speed and control.
This is where the race gets really interesting. Mark Guy is closing in on Ernest Heather. It seems like Abdurrahman is struggling. Their last lap time was a bit off the pace of Greg Hoffert.
Hopefully Abdurrahman can find some of that time they're losing and get it back.
This is a thrilling battle as Greg Hoffert edges closer to Abdurrahman in their fight for P10.
With just 0.3 seconds between them, Greg Hoffert will need to close the gap to have hopes of a pass.
The action is non-stop as Bradley Taylor shadows Greg Hoffert through every twist and turn, determined to claim 11th.
One wrong move and we could see a spectacular new synchronized pirouette performance by Bradley Taylor and Greg Hoffert, though I doubt the judges would give them a perfect score.
The adrenaline is pumping as Greg Hoffert gets within striking distance of Bradley Taylor in their race for 11th. This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Jamie Nichols is chasing Blake Hurley in P4. A strong showing from Warren Dodd, who is currently 13th. The tension is building as Jamie Nichols trails behind Blake Hurley. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Blake Hurley is pushing to maintain the lead, while Jamie Nichols is working to close in and challenge for the position. It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Wayne Midden trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Jamie Nichols. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. This is what racing is all about. Two fierce competitors pushing each other to the limit.
A misjudgment by either driver could result in a close encounter of the tire barrier kind, and that's one handshake they'll want to avoid.
It's a battle out there. Each driver trying to out. Breaking news, folks. Al Walters is pitting. The race is heating up as Greg Hoffert in 11th closes in on Bradley Taylor. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight. It's a battle of wills out there, with Mark Guy trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Ernest Heather. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Situations like these often lead to a dramatic finish.
It's a nail-biting race for sure, with both drivers showing incredible skill and determination. But Ernest Heather is not going to give up the position easily. This is going to be a battle to the very end, with Mark Guy in P8 doing everything they can to catch up.
The crowd is on the edge of their seats as Francois Erasmus in 13th chases after Warren Dodd. The delta is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Francois Erasmus needs to find a way to close the gap. The race is really heating up. Mark Guy is hunting down Ernest Heather with everything they've got. It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Bradley Taylor, who is currently in P10. But Abdurrahman is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Bradley Taylor. The gap between Martin Meyer and Francois Erasmus is razor. Wait, I don't think that's the fastest way around Killarney 36 Pitts International Raceway. Look at that, Johnny Geldenhuys is hot on the tail of Blake Hurley.
It's a fine line between pushing the car to its limits and losing control. Johnny Geldenhuys is really walking that fine line.
Wayne Midden is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. That's where experience and skill come into play.
The delta between Mark Guy in 8th and Ernest Heather remains over a second, but Mark Guy is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap. There's 13 minutes left in this session to make that happen.
It's going to be tough for Mark Guy, as Ernest Heather seems to have found their rhythm. But anything can happen in racing, and we've seen Mark Guy pull off some impressive moves before. I'm excited to see if they can make it happen again.
Things are heating up as Johnny Geldenhuys tries to close the gap to Blake Hurley. The crowd is on its feet as Jamie Nichols chases down Wayne Midden through start-finish. Great driving from Jamie Nichols, who has just gained a place and moved up to 5th.
Amazing stuff. Focus and precision, what it's all about.
In your experience, Max, what was the most important aspect of managing tire degradation during a race?
The most important aspect, Alan, was maintaining a good balance between pushing hard and conserving tires. Finding the sweet spot between aggression and tire preservation was key to optimizing race pace and strategy.
Coming into Sabat, the fight for third is heating up. Neither driver wants to be the first to blink.
Should things go south between Johnny Geldenhuys and Blake Hurley, we might witness a high-speed game of bumper cars, but trust me, it's way less fun with real race cars.
Blake Hurley is looking for an opportunity to get round Johnny Geldenhuys. Oh, this is getting intense. Wayne Midden is just a few car lengths behind Jamie Nichols.
Wayne Midden needs to focus if they want to make a move and pass Jamie Nichols.
Mark Guy is running 8th. They are trying to catch Ernest Heather.
This is where every inch counts. Mark Guy is pushing hard to close the gap on Ernest Heather. Absolutely, precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
Every move counts now as Blake Hurley works to reel in Joni Geldenhuys and overtake for P3. It looks like Wayne Midden is pushing hard to catch up to Jamie Nichols. That's not a small gap, but Wayne Midden has what it takes to challenge for the position. The battle for 9 is heating up as Bradley Taylor tries to catch Abduroff in P9. This is what it's all about, folks. Mitchell Guy is in hot pursuit of Warren Dodd, who's just trying to stay ahead. A great moment for Mitchell Guy, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings. Warren Dodd is giving it their all as they chase down Mitchell Guy in P14. We got a close battle as Joni Geldenhuys closes in on Blake Hurley. This is what high-octane racing looks like. Wayne Midden is breathing down the neck of Jamie Nichols, not giving them any room to relax. A great pass for Wayne Midden as they pick off other drivers and move up the field. Meanwhile, Jamie Nichols has lost ground. Jamie Nichols seems to be putting the pressure on Wayne Midden.
Rubbing is racing, but let's just hope they don't rub it too hard.
The pursuit is on. Mark Guy is closing the gap on Ernest Heather, determined to claim P7. This is where the race gets really interesting. Warren Dodd is closing in on Mitchell Guy.
The gap between them is just over 0.4 seconds. Can Warren Dodd close that gap and get back in range? I can't see it happening at this point.
Blake Hurley wants to find a way round Joni Geldenhuys. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed. Looks like Mark Guy is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curbs aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about maintaining that fine line between speed and control.
Warren Dodd wants to get into Mitchell Guy's slipstream.
They need to keep it on the road, or at the very least the rumble strips. The fastest way around is not usually in the grass. As the saying goes, too much weed will slow you down.
This is a thrilling battle as Jamie Nichols edges closer to Wayne Midden in their fight for P5.
It's all about finding the perfect opportunity. Jamie Nichols needs to stay patient and wait for Wayne Midden to make a mistake.
The pressure is on for Mark Guy as they try to catch up to Ernest Heather.
Mark Guy is looking to close the 0.3 second gap and make a pass.
Francois Erasmus could be looking for a way up the inside of Martin Meyer.
If they get too close, they might end up taking the paint off.
Look at at that, Warren Dodd is hot on the tail of Mitchell Guy.
One important aspect here is choosing the right braking points. Warren Dodd needs to be precise to avoid overshooting and losing valuable time.
Mark Guy appears to be trying to find a way round Ernest Heather. They could make a move on them in Continental. It's like watching two predators circling each other, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce. Warren Dodd is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. That's where experience and skill come into play.
Oh, this is getting intense. Bradley Taylor is just a few car lengths behind Abderraf. Francois Erasmus is on a mission, chasing Martin Meyer, who's desperately trying to stay ahead. In racing, anything can, and usually does, happen, especially in such an epic showdown.
Should things go awry, Warren Dodd and Mitchell Guy might find themselves giving a whole new meaning to the term tandem drifting, though I doubt they'd enjoy it as much as the spectators.
Things are heating up as Ernest Heather tries to close the gap to Mark Guy.
The gap is 0.3 seconds now. Ernest Heather is going to have to work a bit harder to close that gap with Mark Guy.
Bradley Taylor has the pedal to the metal, chasing Abderraf. The fans are on the edge of their seats. It doesn't get any closer than this.
It's a battle for position as Francois Erasmus tries to make a move on Martin Meyer. This is what racing is all about.
Superb driving from Francois Erasmus, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race.
That's what we like to see. Francois Erasmus is really showing their class today.
You know, Max, I've always wondered, how do racing drivers stay so cool and collected under such immense pressure?
Well, Alan, it comes down to mental strength and training. Drivers often work with sports psychologists and practice techniques like meditation and visualization to help them stay calm and focused during high-pressure situations.
It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Mitchell Guy trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Warren Dodd. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. Every move counts now as Bradley Taylor works to reel in Abderraf and overtake for P9. Three cars, three different lines. They're jockeying for position, looking for any opportunity to make a move. The pursuit is on. Bradley Taylor is closing the gap on Abderraf, determined to claim P9. Good news for Bradley Taylor, the gap to Abderraf has decreased. It's now down to 0.3 seconds. It's a brilliant day for racing here at Killarney 36 Pits International Raceway. I'm really enjoying this.
This race is truly epic. What a treat to be sat here witnessing this spectacle.
The tension is building as Blake Hurley trails behind Joni Geldenhuys. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Joni Geldenhuys is pushing to maintain the lead, while Blake Hurley is working to close in and challenge for the position.
This is where experience comes into play. Johnny Geldenhuys has been in this situation before and knows how to defend for position, but Blake Hurley is hungry for success and won't give up easily.
It's a close race between Joni Geldenhuys and Blake Hurley in third. The gap between Joni Geldenhuys and Blake Hurley is getting smaller. So, Max, considering the high speeds and split-second decision-making involved in racing, what's the impact of even a minor lapse in concentration?
A minor lapse in concentration can have significant consequences, Alan. It could lead to an off-track excursion, a loss of position, or even a collision. That's why it's crucial for drivers to stay focused and alert throughout the race.
Things are going according to plan for Wayne Midden, who is currently 5th. A commanding performance from Wayne Midden, who has increased their lead over Jamie Nichols, putting them firmly in their rear-view mirrors.
Yes, it's clear that Wayne Midden is in control out there. They're making it very difficult for Jamie Nichols to catch up.
We've certainly seen some of the drivers get it wrong today.
Anyone lost can just follow the trail of skid marks. I hear it's the latest form of GPS navigation.
Let's hope the other drivers don't follow suit. We might end up with a bumper car race instead of a high-speed competition.
At least we'd have something to fall back on if we ever get bored of regular racing. Bumper cars might be the next big thing.
The race is heating up as Wayne Midden in 5th closes in on Joni Geldenhuys. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight. On the final lap now, and Danny Van Ruyen looks like they might just wrap up this win.
That's an impressive burst of speed. It's all but said and done now.
The leader has done it. What an incredible performance from Danny Van Ruyen, who was simply untouchable today. This is a race that will go down in the history books.
That was a true masterclass in driving from Danny Van Ruyen. You could see them making split-second decisions with total confidence, and it really paid off. What a performance.
A nail-biting finish, but JP Brand claims second place. Well done to Blake Hurley for securing third place on the podium.
Great job bringing it home.
Joni Geldenhuys, Wayne Midden, Jamie Nichols, and Mark Guy take 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Ernest Heather, Abderoff, Bradley Taylor, and Greg Hoffert claim 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. Francois Erasmus, Martin Meyer, and Warren Dodd brings home 12th, 13th, and 14th. Taking 15th is Mitchell Guy.
moments can set the tone for the rest of the race. It's all about keeping a clear head and making smart decisions.
It's a battle of wills out there, with Jandre Bucas trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Armand Geldenhuys. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Situations like these often lead to a dramatic finish. Armand Geldenhuys is running third. They are trying to catch Jean-Pierre Dutoit.
This is where every inch counts. Armand Geldenhuys is pushing hard to close the gap on Jean-Pierre Dutoit. Absolutely, precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Jandre Bucas trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Armand Geldenhuys. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts.
It's moments like these that make motorsports so exciting. We're witnessing a battle of skill and strategy between two great drivers, with Jandre Bucas in fourth determined to catch up. But we know Armand Geldenhuys isn't just going to hand it to them on a plate. Jandre Bucas is going to have to take it. It should be an interesting battle to watch as long as they can close that gap.
Armand Geldenhuys is on a stop the press. Looks like that's a mistake from Ivan Lerm. This could be costly. Oh my, Armand Geldenhuys is hot on the tail of Jean-Pierre Dutoit. As they come into Sabat, I'm sure they may have a cheeky peek up the inside.
The only thing closer than Armand Geldenhuys to Jean-Pierre Dutoit right now is the paint on the cars. Talk about a close encounter.
The crowd is on the edge of their seats as Jandre Bucas in fourth chases after Armand Geldenhuys. The delta is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Jandre Bucas needs to find a way to close the gap.
Absolutely, Jandre Bucas in fourth will need to be patient and carefully work to reduce that gap without overdriving it, as they can't afford to take unnecessary risks and risk an off or damaging their car. Let's see if they have what it takes to get back into the game here.
The pursuit is on. Armand Geldenhuys is closing the gap on Jean-Pierre Dutoit, determined to claim P2. It looks like Jandre Bucas is pushing hard to catch up to Armand Geldenhuys. That's not a small gap, but Jandre Bucas has what it takes to challenge for the position.
This is where experience comes into play. Armand Geldenhuys has been in this situation before and knows how to defend for position, but Jandre Bucas is hungry for success and won't give up easily.
Wow, Armand Geldenhuys is really pushing hard to catch up to Jean-Pierre Dutoit. There's blood in the water for second place.
As a former driver, I can tell you there's nothing quite like the adrenaline rush when you're this close to your rival, ready to make your move.
Look at that, Jandre Bucas is hot on the tail of Armand Geldenhuys. This is what racing is all about. Two fierce competitors pushing each other to the limit.
If Armand Geldenhuys gets any closer to Jean-Pierre Dutoit, they'll need to start sending out wedding invitations.
A tough moment for Armand Geldenhuys, who has just lost a place, dumping them down to fourth. Rising to the occasion and claiming victory would help to cement this driver's legendary status.
I remember being in a similar situation during my racing days. Jandre Bucas must stay focused and wait for the perfect opportunity to overtake.
Seems like Armand Geldenhuys is getting in range of... Hold on a moment. Oh dear, Michael Elliott has had an incident. The action is heating up here as Jandre Bucas is in third, defending from Armand Geldenhuys, who is only 0.3 seconds away. The pressure is on for Armand Geldenhuys as they try to catch up to Jandre Bucas.
One important aspect here is choosing the right braking points. Armand Geldenhuys needs to be precise to avoid overshooting and losing valuable time.
Oh, the pressure is intense. These three drivers are displaying incredible skill and determination. It's like a high-speed chess match out there. The delta between Armand Geldenhuys in 4th and Jandre Bucas remains. Braking alert. I don't think that's the fastest way around Killarney 36 Pitts International Raceway. We got a close battle as Jandre Bucas closes in on Jean-Pierre Dutoit.
This is where the mental game comes into play. Jandre Bucas and Jean-Pierre Dutoit both need to stay cool under pressure.
Looks like Armand Geldenhuys is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curbs aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about maintaining that fine line between speed and control. Armand Geldenhuys needs to focus if they want to make a move and pass Jandre Bucas.
This one's going to be tough. Jandre Bucas is getting their elbows out, and there may not be enough time left for Armand Geldenhuys to make a move. Oh, this is getting intense. Armand Geldenhuys is just behind Jandre Bucas. Wow, Lyle Ramsey is really pushing hard in these final moments of the race.
You got this, keep your cool.
The leader has done it. What an incredible performance from Lyle Ramsey, who was simply untouchable today. This is a race that will go down in the history books.
You can see the sheer determination on Lyle Ramsey's face as they take the win. That's the mark of a true champion, folks.
Some might say that second place is the first loser, but Jandre Bucas certainly doesn't see it that way. They put in a phenomenal effort and should be proud of their impressive result.
Brilliant. Jandre Bucas showed great skill and determination to take second place.
What a race from Jean-Pierre Dutoit, showing their skill and determination for a great third-place finish.
What a drive, well-deserved spot on the podium with that performance.
Armand Geldenhuys, Clayton, Kenneth Ella, and Ivan Lerm in 4th, 5th, 6th, and 8th. With Wihan Visagi in 7th.